Okay, good afternoon. This is the Central Florida Computer Society and the Windows Special Interest Group, or the WinSig, for Sunday, February 11th, 2018. We didn't meet online last month, so there was no recording, but we are recording this, and it will be available on the WinSig website and on YouTube. So we're glad you're here and are joining us, and hopefully you have signed up for our newsletter. Those of you who are online apparently have, because you had the link. And let's see, I want to make sure I don't close the wrong things up here like I've done before. You see my screen here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the well, I didn't really want to do that. What we want is, whoops, I just clicked on the wrong thing here. Sure. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong. I have so many menus going here. I clicked on the wrong one, and we'll get rid of this. This is what I was trying to do, and this is what I wanted. And we'll full screen it so you can see it. No, that doesn't full screen it. That minimizes it. There we go. We got to go next to that, and we'll full screen. Ah, we got it. Okay, you'll notice on the right where you can sign up for the newsletter. Please do so if you don't receive. I send it out about once a month just to talk about where the link is from last month, what's going to be going on at the next meeting, which is usually within a couple of days of when I send this out. And then also usually some kind of a tip or information as well. And that's about it. So it's only about once a month, unless there's something in between that I feel that I need to send out to everybody. So please make sure you sign up. It is Constant Contact. I'm sorry, MailChimp. It's MailChimp. Sometimes MailChimp has a problem getting to AOL addresses. So if you signed up for it and you have an AOL address and you're not getting it, please check your spam and maybe send me an email and see if you've got an alternate email, like a Gmail account, that we can send it to instead. Okay, I have several items that I have scheduled. I always schedule more than we'll have time for. So if you have some time during the month, always go to the website, the WinSig site, and go to the meeting notes and go through some of the ones we didn't get to, or you can go over the ones we did. But let's start out with the first one, which is how to fix Windows 10, a beginner's FAQ. There were some items in this that I thought would be good to cover. And so let's take a stab at it. This is from the website, the MUD, which is the Make Use Of website. It's MUO, sorry, the Make Use Of website, as are several of the items that I've got on the list this month. And they always have some good articles. There's always a lot of ads, and sometimes the ads get mixed in, and so be careful what you click on. But let's take a look. How to uninstall programs on Windows 10, because sometimes there's some bloatware that comes on the computer that you get. Sometimes you've installed programs you're not using, and so on. In order to do that, you open the Settings app. You can use the Windows key plus I, which is the shortcut, or you can just go to the menu and click on Settings, and then select Apps. And then on the Apps and Features tab, you'll see a list of all your installed programs. Click the one that you want, click Uninstall or remove it, and then follow the steps for that particular one. Here's what the screen may look like. And so if you wanted to uninstall Skype 7.4, when you highlight it, it will say modify or uninstall. You click the uninstall and it will go through its uninstall. It may come up and ask you some questions, and that's what you're going to do it. Let's make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Control, there we go. Ralph, you got your camera on. I'm going to shut that off. Let's see if I can. Well, Ralph, if you can also turn off your camera, I would appreciate it, just for bandwidth issues. Okay, so this is what it would look like. And as I say, you just click the uninstall. The next item is how to boot into safe mode in Windows 10. I've had to do this on one of my computers just recently, and there are several ways in which you can attack this, but let's take a look at what it says here. Safe mode is a vital troubleshooting tool. If you remember in earlier versions, in version 7 and earlier, you just keep hitting that F8 key as it's booting, and that allows you to, it'll force it to go into safe mode. That doesn't work in Windows 10. Hang on one second. I just need to do something here. Okay. All right. So at the start menu or the login screen, click the power button. When you're actually, before you hit the power button, hold the shift key down, and then I'm sorry, you want the power button, and then you want it to bring up the menu, and one of the choices will be restart, one will be shut down, and one will be, let's see, restart, shut. Anyway, the restart, you want to hold the shift key down, and then click on the restart button. When Windows 10 asks you to select an option, choose Troubleshoot Advanced Options. On the Advanced Options screen, select Startup Settings, and then click the Restart button. Once Windows 10 reboots, you'll see Startup Settings screen and have to press a number key to get into the safe mode. Press 4 for safe mode and 5 for safe mode with networking. I've got a short video here, and you should be able to hear it. And let's go ahead and take a look and see. Hopefully you can.
Hi, in this video, I will show you how to boot into safe mode in Windows 10, in 3 different ways. First method, using System Configuration tool. Open Run window. To do that, simultaneously press the Windows plus R keys on your keyboard. Type msconfig in the text field and press Enter or OK. Switch to the Boot tab. In the Boot options, select the Safe Boot option. Then, click OK. Restart now. Your device will automatically boot into safe mode. To start Windows normally, open System Configuration again and uncheck Safe Boot. Another way of getting into safe mode in Windows 10 is, use the Shift plus Restart combination. Open the Start menu and click on the Power button. Then, while keeping the Shift key pressed, click on Restart. After restart, Windows 10 asks you to select an option. Choose Troubleshoot. On the Troubleshoot screen, select Advanced Options. Here, choose Startup Settings. Then you will get windows that notify you. Restart your Windows in order to change advanced boot options, including enabling safe mode. Press Restart. Here, you can choose which boot options you want. To get into safe mode, you have 3 different options. To enable safe mode, press the F4 key on your keyboard. To enable safe mode with networking, press F5. And to enable safe mode with command prompt, press F6.
That, I think is the end. Oh, there we go. Okay, and then there's, if you're unable to boot Windows 10 normally and unable to get into safe mode from within the operating system, there's another video where you can do it from the advanced boot options. I'm not going to play another video, but just you can find all of this again on, let's see, let me close this out. I want to make sure I don't close the wrong things here. Okay. Let's see. Go there and go back to this article. That's the easy way to do it. So that was the second. That's how you get into safe mode. You may not have ever had a need to do that in Windows 10 and didn't realize that you can't just do it by hitting the F8 key. And now you can see how to do it. You were able to hear that as well as see it. Is that correct, Stan?
Yeah, we heard it.
Okay, great. Okay, a third item is how to update Windows 10. Windows 10 sometimes automatically keeps you up to date, but you can still check for updates manually using these steps. Go to Settings, which or Windows key and I. Select Update and Security. When the Windows Update tab, under Update Status, click Check for Updates. Windows will check for updates and will sometimes just go ahead and start doing them. So if you're not prepared to do an update, you might not want to do that. But that's what it's going to look like. And for whatever reason, sometimes it takes quite a long time for it to check for the updates. I guess it's going out, looking at your system, and then matching some information out on the cloud, and then decides whether you need some of the updates or not. You can always, below that, there's a link to view installed update history, and you can go back to see when there were the last updates were done or last few updates were done. You can also see if any failed, because it will also indicate on there if they've failed or not. Okay. How to stop updates in Windows 10. If you'd like to turn off Windows Update, here's how to do it. In the Start menu, search for the Administrative and open Administrative Tools. Open the Services utility, scroll down to the Windows Update listing, and right-click and choose Properties. On the General tab, click Stop to kill any Windows Update service on your current session. You can also change the startup type to disable to prevent it from running the next time you reboot, but we don't recommend this for security purposes. And it may not work if you have a home version, but you can try it if that's you so desired. Although I'm not sure why you really need to do the updates. I think a bigger problem is the updates don't install, and you have to try to figure out why and keep trying. I have determine, and when I've done some searching, Windows, when it's doing an update, doesn't hang. If it stops or appear that it has stopped, let it go. Don't get impatient. Go get a cup of coffee, go out and get some dinner, go to sleep, and wake up in the morning. It may eventually finish. If you stop it, you're going to have to start it and try again, and it may stop in the same spot. It's not really stopping. It's just taking a long time to do whatever it has to do the update. I did this a couple of times on our laptop, and I said, finally, I'm just going to let it run. I left it on all night, and in the morning when I got up, it was at the sign-in screen ready for me to start using it. The update did install. So don't get too impatient. It can go very quickly, or it can take a long time. It can be overnight. Just let it go and let it be. Don't get impatient. It doesn't hang. It'll give you an error message if there's a problem. How to factory reset Windows 10. Need to start over with Windows 10. Here's how to set it to factory defaults. Open the Settings app, Update and Security, and then the Recovery tab. Reset this PC and click Get Started. Choose Keep My Files or Remove Everything. Both options will uninstall all of your programs and reset settings. But the former will keep your files. If you choose to remove your files, choose Just Remove My Files for a quick erase, or Remove Files and Clean the drive. Use the second option if you're going to give away your computer so it securely erases your data. Confirm Windows warning that you can't roll back after this, and your computer will begin the reset process. So if you're doing this and doing the recovery, it's going to wipe out all your programs. So make sure that you write down all the programs that you want to have, that you're going to have to reinstall, and make sure that you have a copy of them somewhere so you can get to, and then you also have your keys or the numbers that you need. Stan, everything's still working there all right? My second screen just went away.
Still okay.
Okay, good. So that's one way to start your computer or reset it. You can restore Windows 10. Search for the control panel to open it. Click the recovery and then open System Restore. Open System Restore. Click Next, and you'll see a list of recent restore points. You might want to do this once in a while. You don't have to click on a restore, but check and see if saving restores for you, because you may not have that turned on and may not know it. So it's better to find out before you need it than after. So I would suggest that you do this and just see if there's some listings similar to this that show you that you have been doing some restore points. If not, try to create one, and if not, do a search and how to turn that on so you can do restore points. How to install Windows. I'm not going to go through that, but it's in the sheet, and that's what it's going to look like. How to get help in Windows. Need some assistance on your computer? The following methods are all good ways to get help with Windows 10. Use the Start menu to search for what you want, and Cortana will provide the suggestions. Or open Get Help. There's a Get Help app to help you talk to Microsoft's virtual agent, and this will let you ask a bot, in other words, a robot, for help with your questions. There's also a book that I highly recommend from Paul Thurrott and Raphael, and I can't remember Raphael's last name, and a third person. It sells for its suggested price is $14.99. You can get it as cheap as about $10 from their website, and they update it on a regular basis. So as there's updates, it comes as either an EPUB, a PDF, and I think there's one other format. You can get it in several formats. It's strictly an E version. It's lots and lots of pages, so it's not something you're going to print out. You're going to use. So you want to have it on your second computer, on your iPad, or somewhere else. So if you have a problem, you need to search on how to fix it or how to change it. You might want to be able to get to it through another means as well as having it on your desktop computer. Okay, so that's that website. That's just the first one. Now, once you've installed Windows 10, here's 5 things that you probably should do. 1, you need to do the update. As soon as you've installed a new version, if you've done the update, if you've just done an update on Windows 10, or you got a new computer with Windows 10 on it, or in some way you've updated to Windows 10, the first thing you need to do is go in and do your updates. Generally, there will be several, and it can take quite a while, so you want to do that first before you start doing other things to make sure that there's no problems with it. And a lot of times people forget to do that, and it really is important. And then if you forget to do it, it's probably going to do it when you're trying to get something else done or install something else. So that's number 1 on how to, what to do. Install the latest drivers. So if you've moved to a new computer and you plug in your mouse, or you plug in your printer, you want to make sure you get the latest drivers for those items. And what a driver is, just software that makes that piece of equipment work better. Third thing you should do is install your essential software. Even though Windows 10 comes with a lot of bloatware, none of it's practical. To get your system set for the day-to-day use, you'll want to install some real software. If you aren't sure where to start, here are some ideas. Some antivirus software. Install some web software. If you don't like Microsoft Edge, this author didn't think it's that bad, and I don't either, but I use Chrome, and I was using Firefox, but you might want to install one or both of those on your computer. Install some media software, and the one they suggest is VLC Media Player, and I have VLC and yeah, the VLC is the one I use mostly. As for music, Fubar 2000 is another one they suggest. Install some productivity software. You want an email client if you so desire. You may have, if you have Microsoft Office, you want to install and set up your Outlook. You might use Thunderbird. They mention a couple others that I'm not familiar with, MailSpring and Stillfeed. You might want the Office suite of Microsoft or LibreOffice or WordPerfect. Notes and notebooks, either use OneNote or Evernote, which is what I use, Evernote. Cloud storage, you might install Dropbox. If you already have a Dropbox account, you definitely want to install it. Google Drive, I recommend. And OneDrive should be part of the Windows 10 install, but you might want to take a look at it. You might want to add more space. And if you do use the Microsoft Office suite and get Microsoft Office 365, make sure you sign in with your Microsoft account that your OneDrive is set up for, and it should give you a terabyte for each user in which you have a license for. Make sure yeah.
Mike Ungerman is here, and he has a question.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay, Hilly?
Yes, I hope so, but right now I can.
Okay, so you've got your little hand sitting right on top of Microsoft there in the Office Suite line. You might want to mention that a lot of people don't realize that all of the Microsoft applications, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc., are available in online versions, and they're very free. Not all of them, most of them.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. And you'll notice on my screen right up here, I already have it, and it's office.com. And as long as you have a Microsoft account, you sign into it. And a Microsoft account is free, by the way. And if you have Windows, hopefully you set it up with a Microsoft account. But go ahead and sign into your Microsoft account, and you'll see that you can use online, you can use Office, in other words, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and several of the other Office products. Publisher is not one of them, by the way, but you can use them online for free, and they actually save the files out on your OneDrive if you want, and then you can get to them from any computer just by signing in on that computer. I use that not only on this computer, my desktop, but I also have it on my Chromebook. And so I can work on a document or a spreadsheet on my desktop, save it to OneDrive, and when I'm signed in to my Microsoft account and I click on the online PowerPoint or my online Word or Excel, the document is there, and I can actually edit it and I can use it. I've done demos from my Chromebook by doing that I've designed and set up on my desktop and then presented them using my Chromebook.
Are there any privacy issues with using the online version?
There are no issues. There may be some limitation in some of the things that you can do, but for most people, what you use is very limited in using those documents. And if they're already, if you've already designed them and just need to open and look at them, everything should be there and you should be able to use them.
Okay, Huey,
Yes.
I was going to make a comment a few screens back and didn't, but where it said you should do the updates when they're due. Many of you remember that on this club notebook, the Asus, I was having all sorts of issues with it. And when it was trying to do the preliminary updates, not the big one, there were errors that duplicated then triplicated themselves. So I reverted to a forced update that Bob Farney brought to the TechSig meeting 2 months ago, and that worked perfectly for me. It forced the update, got me completely up to date, and now the club computer is working much better. It also did a good job on my wife's, and there's one more that I haven't quite resolved yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay, good. Thank you. PDF reader, make sure you've got some kind of a PDF reader, but also remember that Microsoft does have built in now a PDF writer that you can save most things. It becomes a printer. And so you tell it to print whatever document you want to print, and you'll see Microsoft PDF is a choice. And you just save it to that. Then it will create a file, put it where you want it to go, and then you've got a PDF. So you really don't need a PDF writer, and you may want one of the other PDF readers. An archive extraction, I used to use WinZip, but WinZip has there's a fee for it. WinRAR, there's a fee for it. 7-Zip is free. System search, what is the one that I use? Let me minimize this for a moment. I use a program called, and I've demonstrated it at the SIG before, Search My Files, and that will search whatever drive or folders that I want it to. And so I like to have that For searching, let's see, this is where I want to come back. So I have that as a system search. I've got so many files and drives and so on that the system search from Microsoft and the indexing, it doesn't always work as well as I would like in the way it used to work, and is not nearly as fast as that program that I use. Fourth thing you want to do is change your default Windows settings, change the default applications, and it tells you how to do that. You might want to disable any unnecessary startup items. Open Task Manager with Control-Shift-Escape. Click More Details, go to the Advanced View, and then go to the Startup tab, and you can disable. I don't think they have a picture of it here. Then you might want to optimize appearance settings and optimize your power plan settings, especially if you're installing new software or updating Windows, and you have it on, and it's a laptop and you have it on battery or even on your desktop. I always turn off the option for it to shut I don't mind if the screen shuts off, but I don't want the drives to shut down or the computer to shut down after half an hour of me not hitting any keys. And so what I like to do is change the power settings so that when I'm plugged in, I have it to always leave it on. And I just, once in a while, it will change that back. But for the most part, I leave it set. When it's plugged in, whether it's my laptop or my desktop, and when it's plugged in, that I want it always to stay on and not go to sleep. And so if I'm installing or I'm running a backup, it's not going to just go to sleep on me. Because usually the only thing that wakes it up is hitting a key. And if it's automated to do a backup, the backup runs an hour, and you got it set for half an hour to go to sleep, it's going to go to sleep, and you're not going to get your backup. You might want to tweak some of your privacy settings, and they list some general privacy settings, telemetry privacy settings, Microsoft account privacy settings, Cortana, and then Windows Store privacy settings. Some other Windows settings to consider. You set up your backup methods. By the way, Windows at one time, in fact, until very recently, did have an image backup built in, and they now have, with the latest update to Windows, there is no longer one there, and you do need a third party if you want imaging software to back. You want to back it up with image software. Okay, that's that item. Then the next item going along with all of this is do not install these Windows 10 apps and programs. And this is, again, from Make Use Of, not my choice, and it may not be your choice. You may decide, well, I want to install it anyway, but this is what they say not to do. For example, how confident are you that the start menu replacement software isn't spying on you? Are you sure your registry cleaner isn't causing more harm than good? So I know a lot of you use CCleaner. This article tells you don't install it. In case you're not aware, CCleaner is like a beefed up version of the native Windows disk cleanup tool. The app serves two functions. Firstly, it can act as a privacy tool by deleting information, such as your browsing history or your recently opened apps. Secondly, it can, and now this is in bold red, remove old, unused apps from your system. That includes Windows logs, old installation files, and temporary internet files. But these may be some things that you don't want to delete, and you don't know that it's doing it until it may be too late. So by unused apps, it may be something you want on your computer, you just haven't had a need for it, but when you go to use it, if they've deleted parts of it, it's not going to work.
I just agree, Huey.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you what this article says. I don't use CCleaner. I want to delete stuff that I know I'm deleting and so on. There might be some things in CCleaner that you want to do, but they're recommending don't even install it.
You notice that check mark there in that screen you just scrolled by where it says obsolete software. All you do is just uncheck that. Delete it alone.
Uncheck which one?
Obsolete software.
Obsolete software. Uncheck that right there. Right. Okay. So if that's what, so you might want to look at these, but a lot of people, and I'm sure some of you in the audience, some of you, all you do is you install it and run it. You don't go in and start looking at some of the things you're going to do. So just be careful if you do install it. iTunes. If you've ever spent much time using a Mac, you'll know iTunes is a terrible piece of software. This, again, is what they're saying, not me, not you. And if Apple's flagship music app is terrible on a Mac, you can imagine how bad it is on Windows. Today, the once majestic music app is a shadow of its former self. To be clear, iTunes isn't going to damage your system or install malware. It's not going to spy on you or hit you with a barrage of ads. It is, however, a slow, bloated, and thoroughly unenjoyable way to manage and listen to your music. Updates are too frequent, and it takes ages, and essential functions of the app are organized in a confusing way. One of the big things is that if you've got a lot of music you've paid for through iTunes, you almost need it. So just before you start buying a lot of music through iTunes, you want to make sure that that is, in fact, the way you want to do it. Norton Antivirus, they tell you don't install. It's the sign of a good virus is one that comprehensively protects you from all threats, and you don't notice it running in the background. Well, Norton's threat detection is good as anything else in the industry. It's sorely lacking on the second point.
Agreed.
So if you search for issues related to Norton slowing down a computer on Windows, you'll notice that the top few results are from Norton's website. They offer a mea culpa, admitting the problem was a reality in the past, but claiming it's no longer an issue. WhatsApp. Did you know that WhatsApp offers a desktop version of the app? It went live in May 2016, but the uptake has been underwhelming. There's nobody in there that uses WhatsApp, although it's I think I wrote an article on the TechSig, or I put it on Facebook. It's one of the more widely used apps out there, but people in our age group for the most part don't use it. Flash Player, if there's one app on this list which you absolutely need to avoid at all costs, is the Flash Player. It's being phased out. Even Adobe, which is the source of it, is phasing it out. So I would, unless you absolutely need it for something, for most things that you do, they have usually a workaround to not use Flash, and it's being retired. Internet Explorer. Edge might not have been the browser of everyone's choice. However, compared to Internet Explorer, it looks like the greatest piece of software ever written. Amazingly, despite the presence of Edge, Microsoft continues to offer Internet Explorer for download. Officially, it's now dead. Microsoft said it will not work any new features for the app. However, the latest update became available in 2017, December. But Microsoft will keep it updated for several years as part of its support policy, but it's hard to understand why the app is still available for download. Don't try and be quirky or cool. Internet Explorer is awful. Okay, that's, again, their opinion. And which apps do you avoid?
Can I make another comment?
Sure.
I'm starting to not like this author. However, for professionals, especially in corporate environments, real estate people, brokers, etc., that need to use Internet Explorer to access their servers and to run their apps, such as multiple listing and so on, it's not yet fully compatible with Edge. My wife had a lot of problems with it, and I had to force it to go to Internet Explorer.
Okay.
Armin also has a comment.
Yeah, you can't even get on the Eagles website through MMX without using Internet Explorer. You need to have it on a lot of computers. A lot of stuff
Okay, what they're saying, in case on the recording you don't hear or understand what they're saying there is a lot of software, especially in the real estate industry, and one fraternal organization, their software that all their member groups have to use actually requires Internet Explorer to get on, because they were written especially for them, and the other browsers or the newer browsers or newer versions of browsers just don't work properly with their software, and that's a problem that we found in the past. I found it with even banking sites. Some banking sites, if I went with Internet Explorer, it didn't work, and if I went with say Firefox, it would work, or the other way around. So I suggest if you're having a problem getting to a website or the website looking proper, try one of the other browsers. So it's always a good it's always good to have access to at least 2 or 3 browsers on your computer for instances like that. It depends on how the website authors put together the software. Or it might be a website, or it might just be a specific software that runs on the internet. But either way, what do they call that? SAS, software as software. What is it?
Software as a service.
Yeah, software as a service. Thank you. This mind gets tired sometimes and just doesn't remember all of the acronyms. But they run as a service in the background, and it depends on how they were written, how well they work with a particular browser. Okay, how am I doing for time? About 2:15. Let's jump into something that I thought might be fun to cover, and then I'll come back maybe to some of the other Windows 10 items. But I thought that just to lighten things up a little bit, we'd take a look at some gadgets you can buy that are out there, not having to do with Windows, but might be a little bit more fun to spend a little time with here. Here is an adjustable mirror with Bluetooth audio, hands-free speakerphone, LED lighting, Siri and Google Voice Assistant, USB charging, and LED lighting. So that's what you want in your bathroom, right? Not sure whether you do or not with any of these, but it's interesting to know that they actually exist. Let me close this out, and let me make this a little bit bigger. There we go. So that's what that looks like. The next item is TechBoss LED digital shower thermometer, real-time water temperature monitor. If you find that you have several people in your home use the same shower and they like to have different temperatures for the water, and you can never get the one you like, well, once you decide what the ideal temperature is, you can actually adjust it and make sure that it's that before you get under the shower. The next one is the Philips Sonicare for kids, Bluetooth connected sonic electric toothbrush. The only rechargeable toothbrush for kids enabled with Bluetooth R wireless technology, which connects directly to the app, making brushing fun while educating kids how to brush properly on their own. Amazing. This is what we all need, a Lumabol toilet nightlight, and it's motion activated. So if you don't want to turn the lights on, when you move into the bathroom, it will illuminate for you.
I saw that on Shark Tank, and what this guy is not mentioning is the price of some of these things. I think that Illuma bowl was something like $75 or $100.
Oh, that's cheaper than I thought it would be. HomeWorks bath fan with Bluetooth speaker. So you get a fan and a speaker for your bathroom. How about a potty seat for iPads? Talk about the ultimate babysitter. Parents can give children a comfortable and fun place to learn to use the potty with a child-friendly potty from CTA Digital.
Really dangerous. Should be called.
I didn't hear that, but
Oh, that's what they want.
okay. Water Hawk Smart Rain Shower Head with water usage and temperature LED display, and I don't know if you can tell, but right, it looks like right in the center there's an LED display. iDuck, a waterproof radio and wireless speaker. Kohler Moxie shower head and wireless speaker. Do some of you take showers that are that long that you have to listen to music? I don't have to answer that.
I answer the phone.
Here's an iFox IF012 Bluetooth shower speaker. And you have the volume controls and on and off. And there is a button there for a phone, it looks like, so you could actually talk to your phone via Bluetooth. And so if somebody calls you while you're in the shower, you can be, you don't have to get out of the shower to talk to them. And don't have to get your phone wet. An odorless toilet fan. A smartphone thermometer. A musical shower curtain. So you put your iPad or tablet in the shower curtain and close it up so it's waterproof. Here's what everybody needs. An iPad holder and toilet paper roll holder in one unit. So you can sit and spend your time on the iPad, and when you're ready, the paper is available for you.
You can use it, break the screen.
Here is a monitoring water and energy smart meter for a shower. A wine cup, bath and shower portable suction cup holder for beer or wine.
Get drunk in the shower. I love it.
Towel spa, a jumbo towel warmer. Bluetooth smart body fat scale by Weight Gurus. An ear thermometer, a smart ear thermometer. And that's it for that one. And let's move from the bathroom to the bedroom. 21 amazing gadgets for your bedroom. Shape-up dumbbell alarm clock, barbell. Z-zoned aromatherapy pillow. A DreamPad advanced music smart pillow. Designed to play music through infrasound technology, converting sound into vibrations that conduct into the inner ear. So it's not really a speaker. So obviously other people can't hear it. That might not be bad.
That was also on Shark Tank, and I believe it's $1,000 or $1,500.
Oh, wow.
It supposedly has other therapeutic benefits.
Oh, I think the one you were talking, that was a mattress, I think, on Shark Tank.
No, I'm referring to a pillow.
Okay, I remember I saw somewhere it was a mattress, and you put it between the mattress and the box spring. Anyway, a motion-activated LED bed light. I guess you couldn't sneak into bed easily. An iHome Genergy bedside sleep therapy machine. A Swan vintage Teasmade and alarm clock. What's that? It makes tea? No, I don't. There's no better way to start the morning than with this steam mug of tea. Legendary British housewives brand Swan know this, which is why they're updating its iconic Teasmade appliance and brought it to the here and now, featuring a revised, sleek, and sophisticated design, but maintaining the aesthetics that made it so popular. So the Swan Teasmade is not only a stylish addition to the bedroom, but multifunctional too. Northgate Smart Home Sleep System, Nightingale Smart Home. 8 smart mattress, 10-inch reactive foam with sleep tracking and temperature control. So you put that on top of your bed.
Can you go back to that Nightingale thing?
Sure.
It's the first thing they called smart home, which means it must run on Wi-Fi.
I can't quite hear you, but you asked me to go back to this. The Nightingale First Smart Sleep System offers customers cutting-edge sound masking technology for their bedrooms. Developed by acoustic engineers, Nightingale reduces the wake occurrences by masking common indoor and outdoor noises. Clinically proven to help users fall asleep 38% faster, Nightingale is one of the most effective sleep solutions available. It might be something if you have trouble going to sleep or sleeping through the night because of noises, you might want to take a look at the Nightingale Smart Home Sleep System. The Portfolio Smart Piggy Bank. It's the world's smartest piggy bank. It wirelessly connects to an app on your mobile device so you can track your balance and set financial goals from afar. Its nose lights up in celebration every time a U.S. coin is inserted, and it holds up to $100 in quarters. Bedside smartphone stand. That's the ultimate in laziness. Smart sensor anti-snore pillow. What's it do? Shock you when you snore? Rechargeable smart sensor anti-snore pillow. It's the latest technology in the battle for good night's sleep. Made it soft, supportive, okay? But what's it do? When snoring is detected, if an internal airbag automatically inflates to increase the pillow height by 3 inches and then deflates immediately. This gentle nudge is usually enough to prompt the sleeper to change position and stop snoring. Yeah, that's interesting. The Noti Smart Mood Light with notifications for iPhone, iOS, and Android smartphones. Connects to your smartphone via Bluetooth and notifies you with a different color of light when you receive an incoming call, SMS or WhatsApp, Facebook update, IFTTT, notifications, and so on. Noti is customizable so you can select which color you want for each type of notification. It also serves as a wake-up alarm light and it can sync to your music. So if at night you don't want your phone to ring, but you want to know when it rings, so you don't wake other people up, you can set the lights to whatever you want to make that happen. The BedJet climate control for beds. You have it next to the bed and it pumps cold or warm air underneath the covers for you. And that's how it works. The Bedit sleep tracker and wellness coach. The Sleep Companion sleep enhancing and monitoring light. Edifier TikTok Bluetooth alarm clock. The TV listening headband. I thought that, well, gee, that might not be a bad idea. And I clicked on it and I went to the website and it says it's not available. So the one out of all of these that I might have wanted to buy is not available. And then the Philips Hue Bloom dimmable LED smart table lamp. It's compatible with Amazon, Apple, and Google Assistant. Hatch Baby Smart changing pad and Wi-Fi scale. Just what you need for your baby. A Bluetooth music and phone sleep mask. I wonder what that looks like on. There's not a picture of somebody wearing it. Philips wake up light with colored sunrise simulation. And that's it for those. I thought you might enjoy a little bit of some of the things that are out there and give you something. Again, if you go to the WinSig website, those two items are at the bottom of the list. There's a whole bunch of other items there. Stan, how are we doing for time?
Well, actually, I've not yet heard from the Malwarebytes guy. I told him anytime after 2, he has not contacted me yet. So let's open up for questions or add some more if you got it.
Okay, how about some questions first?
Mike?
Going back to the Windows updates, I used the same link that Stan broke down and updated my wife's Windows 8.1 computer to Windows 8 because there was a fatal flaw in Internet Explorer of all things that could not be fixed. And I just abbreviate by saying I searched all over the internet and did all about 20 different fixes that suggested that finally broke down. And that's not the problem. But then started additional updates, even though that Windows update link that Stan referred to is supposed to prepare either a flash drive or a DVD from an ISO with all the updates on it. There were still more to come, including 1179. I got the number. So when I got it, my wife wasn't using the computer. On the Windows Update screen, I was actually looking for a button that said Update Now, and there was none. It was there. It said it was ready. I set the usage hours of the computer outside the current time period, so we didn't think the computer was being used until it installed. Didn't install it. Rebooted, still didn't install it. Waited a day, the next morning, installed. So I wasn't able to find something in that update screen that actually forces an update to install, like earlier operating systems, you just say install now and it goes ahead and install.
I have found what he basically said, it doesn't always tell you that it's ready to install, or there's not a button to press when you have something to install the update. And I have found that sometimes there is and sometimes there isn't. And I'm not sure why. But usually it has to download it first. And then sometimes you have to reboot. And then it says, okay, now it's ready to do it. They don't have that really well defined, and it is confusing. It's one of the reasons that I have now embraced another operating system for those people who really don't want to be involved with these kind of things and don't need it. But this is not the place to talk about that. However, eventually it does get updated, and when you update, forcing something to update, it then goes out and checks again, and it apparently is looking for some particular information which tells it, oh, okay, you don't have that, so you need to update with this update. So sometimes after you've done an update, then there are more updates available. And they aren't available until you have done that. And so...
It was just very inelegant, I guess.
Oh, absolutely, it's inelegant. But were you saying that there was some kind of a special link that you had that forced an update? Is that what you were referring to?
I didn't see it. After I did the installation, which did come with a good majority of updates, which is nice. Then about an hour later or so, it said, oh, you have 2 more updates. And one of them was 1179. I knew that was a big one. So since I was working on the computer, I wanted to force it to update right then. And there was no button that said, yeah, go ahead, get it installed. So, as I said, I played with the hours of usage. I played with do not reboot during these times. I played with all those different settings so that it basically said, hey, the computer's free, go ahead and use it if you want to do updates. Even to the point of rebooting a couple of times, and it just didn't do it. So that night, overnight, leaving the computer on, it did do the installation.
Yeah, I don't know how it knows when to do it. And I think sometimes it's waiting and it's still doing something in the background. And it's, even though it doesn't tell you that it's finished and it's ready to do the installation, it's still, if you look at the hard drive light, you'll see that it's still flashing quite a bit. It's still doing some things in the background, probably downloading and then getting the install files in place. And so that's why it takes time to get to it. I'm guessing.
Yeah, one of the things that Microsoft does is they do bandwidth management on their server.
We can't hear you. I can't hear you, so I'm sure not getting on the recording.
One of the things that Microsoft does is bandwidth management on their servers. So if their servers are in heavy use, they won't do an update for some people, and as soon as they become available, they'll do the update. Remember, Microsoft servers are all over the world, and they have demands from all over the world as well. So it may just be late at night that Australia is asking for updates, and they don't have enough server power in Australia, so then they might move to Redmond to get some more server power, which would limit what Mike can get, because they got there first.
Yeah, and yes, and that's why the download speed takes so long to do an update. Where if you run other software, it downloads in a matter of seconds and installs, even if it's a major, a large program. It runs very fast. When this might be just a small update for Windows, and it takes quite a long time because they do send it at a very slow speed.
I'd like to add something. You know, we always say different strokes for different folks, and one size doesn't fit all. On the Club Asus, before it was getting ready to do the big update, it took something like 30 hours to tell me that it didn't do it completely. And then when I used the Force from a DVD, it only took about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had any more updates since then. It did it completely. So I don't know why the circumstances are, but that's on the same machine. And on my wife's, it was also quite quick.
I have two questions. One is, Mike, when you updated you did that, you tried to update it, did you change the system time? Is that right, how you forced it?
Bob Black's asking me if I changed the system time. No, I changed in the update settings under advanced, if I remember correctly. There are a number of things you can change. You can say, when is the computer normally busy? So my wife starts using the computer at 10 in the morning and probably about midnight. So, you know, I didn't want it rebooting during that period of time. So it was at the time I was doing this was probably about 2 in the afternoon. So I just said, okay, the normal operating hours are from 10 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon, which then opened it up, being theoretically a free period of time that it could do updates if it was going to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Mike, where you set the times for that? In the update and security?
Under Windows Update, yeah, updating.
Okay, I don't want to click on it because it may go out and try to find if there's updates and may start doing them. And so I do not want to do that.
I was updating 2 Windows phones the other day, which happened to be very similar models. One was one number different. I think it was like 530 and 531 or whatever the numbers are. Anyway, I bought one on the internet, and they both had Windows 8. but I wanted it to be 8.1. So I started updating one of them. I just went in and said, "Where's an update?" or whatever the command is in the system. And one started updating. The other one said, "Unable to update, unable to update." Kept doing that every time I pressed "Where's an update?" And then I noticed that the time on the Windows Phone which wouldn't update was not correct. It was maybe, I don't know, it was like 8 hours off or something. The one I bought on the internet. So I went into the time and set the correct time, and then I said, "Towards an update," and it was right to it, just like the other. I can't see that would make a difference. You would think when they updated it, they would update the time. But anyway, that's my comment. I have another question from you. Can you hear me, you?
You hearing Bob Black? You,
No, I heard him say something about he had another question, but I couldn't hear what it was. Can somebody repeat it closer to the mic?
Do you need me to take the mic?
There's no mic here.
Okay, well then closer to the computer.
All right. In your talk, you mentioned that Microsoft discontinued their photo storing system or whatever it is. And there have been so many photo storing.
No, I mentioned they discontinued their image backup, which is
Okay. When you said image, I thought you meant photos.
no. I meant like True Image
But
for backup.
It just reminded me that a lot of places that actually store photos, and I mistook what you said, but I might as well say what I'm going to say anyway, and that is that if you are storing photos in the cloud, so many people, when they take pictures with phone or camera or whatever, it goes to some cloud place. And through the years, a number of them have gone out of business, some with no notice and some with notice. And if you are storing them, let's say in Cloud 9, you might also have them go to Cloud 7 or whatever, because it's like a backup. If you don't have them in two places, you're likely to lose them.
You're absolutely correct. What he's saying, for those of you at home, if you didn't hear or understand, if you back up photos to a cloud storage area, and there is a lot of them, you might want to make sure that you use more than one, because if one of them goes out of business, they may give you notice, they may not. With all the problems at Yahoo, I use Flickr for years, and I have 6,000 photos on Flickr. Well, Flickr has a way in which you can download them, so I did download all 6,000 and put them somewhere else as well. But they're still there, which surprises me, because that got sold to, I can't remember who bought. I think it was Verizon. But Flickr still runs just as it did for years. But I also use Google Photos, and I don't think, although Google has on occasion closed down things that people didn't think would ever close down. So I store photos out on Google Photos, and the nice thing about Google Photos is that once you set it up on your phone or your tablet or your computer, they're all connected, and when you take a picture with your phone, it automatically shoots it to Google Photos. Google Photos uploads it to the cloud, and then you can immediately take a look at it on your desktop without having to take out the SD card or to wire connect them or somehow connect them in other ways to move the files around. They all go out and stay out in the cloud.
Ewing, this is Ken. I
Yes.
got one, just kind of curiosity about all these updates people are talking about. A couple of things happen. You're not a Process Explorer user. You go to Process Explorer, you'll find a lot of software that's running about 0.01, 0.03 of processor time. Those are all your updates. They run all the time. And a lot of them don't get taken out when you unload the software. You still keep using your internet, not trying to update. And it also keeps track of you and the time. So if you want to, you can always go in there and take a look at them, see what they are, and you can shut them off. So it's an interesting thing, but you have to be careful around Internet Explorer because it's ubiquitous. Say the least.
Okay. Very good. Thanks, Ken.
Not Internet Explorer, Processing Explorer, sorry.
I had an experience with a couple of machines that were running whatever browser was just like molasses in the machine. And what I decided to do was to install a totally different browser and make sure there were no, help me out, what's the right word for the?
Add-ins.
The add-ins. I had it totally stripped of the add-ins, and I found that that browser made the machine seem like it was, working perfectly. Suggestion, give it a try.
Yeah, and some add-ins slow down one browser, it may not slow down another. So that's another reason I have multiple browsers on my computer. Of course, I do I have a couple of websites, and I like to look at them using different browsers anyway. But some browsers handle different add-ons better than others, and just because it's not the same add-on, even though it has the same name, it is written differently for each version. In other words, each browser.
I will also offer a suggestion. If you're trying to do something like install a program, or a program is not working the way you think it should, one of the simplest solutions to this can often be just turn off your computer and turn it back on again. That way, a lot of things that were running just go away. You're starting with a clean system, and then go ahead and try to run your update or install your program or whatever you were trying to do.
Yeah.
Run C clean. Which I know you didn't like that.
Yeah, and not only your computer, it's sometimes not a bad idea to go ahead and shut down your router. And I have not only have a router, but I have an additional port server plugged into it. Plus, because I have too many ports that I need, but just shut it all down and then turn it back on and try to get it in the order in which it's going to flow to make sure that everything is new and fresh. And I found sometimes that clears up issues as well.
One of the other problems that sometimes occurs is some temporary files get left with a partial installation or an installation that aborted, or an uninstallation that left files out there. So even though they don't like CCleaner will clean out your temporary files, and that too solves a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Well, I find Evo uninstaller is still very helpful if you're trying to uninstall programs. It finds a whole bunch of extra features.
I prefer that to the Microsoft add remove.
Okay, I want to share one other thing with you, and then I'm going to sign off and then let you guys do whatever you need to do on that end if your speaker doesn't show up. I discovered something setting up for my Google presentation that I did yesterday at the virtual technology conference for APCUG. And what I did is it was a presentation I have on finding things faster and doing things faster using the using Google search. One of the things I found was this: if you type in your search box speed test and press enter, instead of having to go to Ookla or speedtest.net or org, I can never remember which one it is, or to run any of the other ones, when you type in speed test in Google, what you get is a box right here at the top. It says run speed test. click it. And it runs a speed test. You don't have to go find a website anywheres. You do it right from Google. And that's the download speed. My upload speed is not quite as fast.
You read all your files.
I am thinking of cutting the cord, so to speak, for and cutting the cable. And when I do that, I'm going to probably change from Spectrum's internet to, I hate to say this, but Frontier. But the FiOS is available to my house, and I would get 150 download, but I'd also get 150 upload, and cheaper than I am getting it from Spectrum. And so I'm probably going to do that and then stream one of the services, and I'm trying several different services. But obviously, Spectrum, I get a pretty good download. I am paying for 100 megabits down, so I get just above that. I am wired on this computer, but I get between 50 and 100 on the Wi-Fi as well. But all you have to do is type in speed test, and you've got it right there at any time. And I think it's just a fast way in which to, in order to do a speed test on wherever you are and see what it is. So if you're on Wi-Fi at a McDonald's, you can see how fast it is. Or if you're on Wi-Fi at a doctor's office and you want to see how fast it is, that's a good way to do it. Do it easily. You don't need a special program to do it. And just as long as you can get to Google through a browser, you can have it work. On that note, I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to shut off the recording first. Hang on one second.